From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline, Malacanang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcasts through the facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media or Voice of America on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. This is Dateline Malacanang in Review, and I'm your host, Leo Magpayo. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday urged newly commissioned officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP to remain non-partisan and uphold integrity amid corruption challenges confronting government institutions. Speaking at the Major Services Officer Candidate Corps Joint graduation ceremony at Villamor Air Base in Pasay City, President Marcos reminded the 638 graduates that their loyalty must rest solely with the Republic. The President's call comes as his administration intensifies its campaign against anomalies, particularly corruption in flood control projects. President Marcos emphasized that the AFP must set the standard at a time when public trust is strained. The chief executive warned that dishonesty can take many forms and that officers will face moments testing their integrity. Highlighting the moral discipline expected of military officers, President Marcos said integrity is carried in their uniform. President Marcos Jr. assured the AFP of the government's commitment to modernization, citing investments in radar systems, ships, aircraft, facilities, and strengthened security partnerships with allies such as Japan, the United States, and Australia.
More than this, the AFP that you are part of now must always rise above politics. Your loyalty must not be for any individual or any faction, but only to the Republic. The time and effort that you have spent in this course has taught you that by becoming full-fledged officers, your integrity is carried in your uniform and rank. Sa panahon ngayon, kung kailan maraming Pilipino ang nangangailangan ng katapatan at katapangan sa serbisyo, kayo ang unang magiging halimbawa sa kanilang lahat. As your Commander-in-Chief, I promise that this government remains committed to building a modern and professional armed force. We continue to invest in radar systems, ships, aircraft, facilities that will strengthen our deterrence and improve disaster response. We also deepen our partnerships with other countries such as Japan, the United States, Australia, as well as other allies, to better protect our shared peace and our stability. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, wherever you may be assigned, on land, at sea, in the air, remember that your mission will go beyond completing missions. Ultimately, it will be about maintaining peace and building a nation.
Was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline, Malacanang.
Also on Monday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the suspension of the Complete Disability Discharge or CDD of an Army officer who was permanently blinded in combat, stressing that wounded personnel must not be dismissed after sacrificing for the country. In a video message, the president said he was moved by the viral post of Captain Jerome Hacuba, who was signed off from service following his discharge due to complete disability. Hacuba lost his sight after a bomb explosion during an anti-terrorism mission in Mindanao. President Marcos directed Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP Chief of Staff, General Romeo Bronner, to suspend the discharge order, promote Hakuba to the rank of major, and assign him to adaptive duties that would make use of his 15 years of military experience. The Commander-in-Chief also instructed Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. to review the CDD policy to prevent similar cases of injured soldiers being removed from service without proper recognition or support. The chief executive emphasized that the government remains committed to honoring the sacrifices of wounded personnel and ensuring that disability does not mark the end of their service to the nation.
Ito po ay tungkol sa isang magiting na sundalo natin na si Captain Jerome Hakuba, ODAS 146467 Philippine Army. Kung nakita nyo po, ang ating butihing kapitan ay nabulag dahil nasabugan po ng bomba. Nagjo-duty siya at ito yung nangyari sa kanya. Ngunit pagkatapos siyang nabulag, ay nabigyan siya ng tinatawag na CDD or Complete Disability Discharge. Ibig sabihin, hindi na siya pwede sa military dahil nga hindi na siya pwede sa combat operation at nabulag na nga siya. Nung nakita ko yung video niya at pinag-isipan ko yung mga nangyari sa kanya, parang hindi tama. Dahil ito ay isang opisyal na itinaya na nga niya ang buhay niya para sa duty na, para ipagtanggol ang Pilipinas. At dahil sa ganyan, ay basta't bibitawan na lang natin. Ay hindi naman yata makatarungan yan. Kaya binigyan ko ng instruction ang ating Chief of Staff na isuspindi na yung CDD ni Captain Hakuba. Bukod pa doon, ay dapat ibigyan siya ng promotion dahil sa katapangan niya at gawin na siyang major. At maghanap po tayo ng mga iba't ibang posisyon na pwede pa naman siya. Yung ating mga tinatawag na the major adaptive duties. Kasi kahit nabulag na po, marami pa ring duty na pwedeng gawin ng isang sundalo, lalong-lalo na sa isang sundalo na may 15 years na experience. Maraming maidadagdag at maitutulong sa atin yan. In-instruction ko rin ang ating Secretary of National Defense na pag-aralan ulit itong polisiya natin para hindi naman mangyari ulit ito. Na ang isang sundalo natin na nasaktan dahil sa sakripisyo niya, dahil ginagawa niya ang duty niya para ipagtanggol ang Pilipinas, ay basta't pagka nasaktan, ay basta't bibitawan na lang natin. Hindi naman tama yun. Kaya gagawa po tayo ng bagong polisiya sa CDD sa lalong madaling panahon. Ito ay para sa lahat ng ating mga sundalo na dahil sa ka-duty nila sila ay nasaktan, sila ay nagka-injury, ay dapat naman patuloy din ang ating pagkilala sa kanilang katapangan at sa kanilang sakripisyo.
Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacanang.
Malacanang on Thursday said it is open to offering a monetary reward for information leading to the arrest of former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldi Ko. In the press briefing, Presidential Communications Office or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the administration has not yet discussed a plan to offer a bounty as authorities continue efforts to verify his reported presence in Portugal. Castro, however, acknowledged that the proposal to offer a cash reward for cost capture is a good suggestion.
Sa ngayon po, wala pong napag-uusapan sa ganyan. Pero since nadinig po sa inyo, maaari po siguro i-considera. Pero as of now, wala pa po napag-uusapan tungkol dyan. Maganda po suggestion yan. Opo.
Castro emphasized that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has already ordered all concerned agencies to coordinate in locating Ko overseas and ensuring his immediate return to the country.
Sa lahat po na ahensya na concern, since ang Pangulo po ay nag-utos na rin po na ihanapin at pauwiin dito si Zaldico, lahat po ng ahensya na concern dapat po na alamin ito at makatulong para mapabalik po agad si Zaldico sa Pilipinas.
Castro did not confirm reports that Ko is currently in Portugal, saying agencies are still verifying his actual location as part of their coordinated efforts. President Marcos earlier ordered the immediate apprehension of Ko following the issuance of a warrant of arrest against the fugitive lawmaker.
Dateline Malacanang.
Also on Tuesday, the first family is open to undergoing a lifestyle check, Malacanang said as it addressed questions raised in an investigative report about the distribution of allocable infrastructure funds that placed Ilocos Norte, the Marcos family's bailiwick, currently represented by presidential son Ferdinand Alexander Sandro Marcos in Congress, among the top recipients. In a media briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro confirmed that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has already read the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, or PCIJ report, which claimed that Sandro Marcos's district received around 15.8 billion pesos in Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, allocable funds from 2023 to 2025, the highest among 252 congressional districts. Castro said the president trusts that his son can explain the matter. She added the lawmaker has already volunteered to appear before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI, handling the inquiry on public infrastructure anomalies. The PCIJ report examined how nearly 1.2 trillion pesos in DPWH allocable funds were assigned using a budgeting mechanism informally called the BBM parametric formula. The formula resulted in large variations among districts, with some high population areas receiving far less than smaller districts, and with several Duterte-aligned lawmakers reportedly receiving zero allocables in the 2025 budget. When asked if the palace would allow a lifestyle check on the presidential son or the first family, Castro said there is no objection from Malacanang.
Nabasa na po ng Pangulo ang nabanggit na report or pag-uulat ng PCIJ. But as of now, I cannot speak for in behalf of Congressman Sandro Marcos. At sabi naman po niya, siya po ang nagboluntaryo. Kung ano man po ang issue sa kanya, siya mismo ang pupunta sa ICI para maimbestigan po siya. Bigyan lamang po siya ng date para po magkaroon ng tamang schedule. Alam naman po ng Pangulo na alam ni Congressman Sandro Marcos ang kanyang ginagawa at alam niya po kung paano ito sasagutin. Nandiyan na po yan. Wala mong pinagbabawal sa lifestyle check. Kahit sino po. Open po, even before.
The PCIJ report also noted long-standing concerns about the alleged politicization of infrastructure funding, with both allocable and non-allocable DPWH projects historically prone to insertions, uneven distribution, and audit red flags. The report came as the administration tackled infrastructure spending anomalies, particularly in flood control projects, which were initially uncovered by the President in his last July's State of the Nation address.
Dateline Malacanang.
Still on Tuesday, Malacanang emphasized that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. had no input or influence in the House of Representatives' decision to suspend Cavite Representative Kiko Barzaga. The subject is exclusively within the lower chamber's competence. Presidential Communications Office, or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro pointed out that the President fully respects the House's power to impose disciplinary sanctions on its members. Barzaga previously suggested that his suspension was politically motivated or related to his criticisms of the administration. Castro denied the assertion and explained that the allegations leveled against him, such as the alleged publishing of sexual images and arguments over alleged disinformation regarding the Philippine Armed Forces, had nothing to do with the president.
Desisyon po yan ng House of Representatives. So, yan po ay nalaman na po kung ano po naging desisyon. So, ginagalang po ng Pangulo kung ano man ang desisyon ng House of Representatives. So, in other words, sinasabit niya ang pangalan po ni Pangulo dahil sa kanyang pagkakasuspindi. Yes po. Unang-una po yung mga lewd photos na kanyang pinost. Hindi naman po kasama ang Pangulo nung ito ay kanyang ginawa. Hindi naman kasama ang Pangulo nung ito pinost. At yung mga sinasabi niya mga umanong disinformation laban sa AFP, hindi rin po yata kasama ang Pangulo sa kanyang mga umanong disinformation. So sa ating nakikita rito, ginagamit lamang ang pangalan ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. para ma-justify ang kanyang mga ginagawang disinformation.
That was Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacanang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday stressed that transparent and accountable governance must take root at all levels of government, noting that strong systems at the barangay or village level can help rebuild public trust amid recent controversies involving flood control projects. Leading the 2025 Galing Pook Awards in Malacanang, President Marcos said barangays continue to prove that clear processes and community participation lead to more effective and trustworthy public service, an approach he said is crucial at a time when several national agencies are under scrutiny.
Kapag tinutugunan natin ang pangangailangan ng tao, nagdudulot ito ng magandang pagbabago. Ipinakita rin ng ganitong parangal na ang tapat at maayos na pamamahala ay hindi lang nasa kamay ng national government. Nagsisimula ito sa pangunahing unit ng pamahalaan, ang barangay. Dahil kapag malinaw ang proseso ng pamahalaan, lumalakas ang tiwala ng ating mga kababayan. Kung may pananagutan, tumataas ang respeto ng mamamayan. At tuwing inuuna natin ang kapakanan ng taong bayan, sumusunod ang pag-unlad ng ating inang bayan. Ito ang kulturang nais nating ipalaganap sa pamahalaan. Ganito ang serbisyo publika na dapat ramdam ng pamayanan, tapat, bukas at may direksyon.
The statement comes as the administration addresses irregularities involving defective, overpriced flood control projects. President Marcos has repeatedly vowed that investigations will continue and that responsible officials will be held accountable. In contrast, he said, awardee barangays have shown how transparent systems, even with limited resources, can produce programs that directly address community needs.
Ang gaganda nitong proyekto ninyo. Masasabi ko talaga, ang naisip ninyo mga bagong project, hindi namin naisip sa national government ito. Sa barangay lang talaga manggagaling ito.
Urged national agencies to adopt and scale barangay-level innovations that have already demonstrated transparency, participation, and impact. The 2025 awards are organized by the Galing Pook Foundation in partnership with the Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG, Local Government Academy or LGA, SM Prime Holdings, and the Land Bank of the Philippines. Since 1993, the program has recognized 367 outstanding initiatives from 235 local government units.
Dateline Malacanang.
The Philippine government will implement a three-tranche increase in the base pay of all military and uniformed personnel or MUP beginning in 2026 in recognition of their crucial role in disaster response and national security. In a video message, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the salary adjustment will cover personnel of the Department of National Defense, the Department of the Interior and Local Government, the Philippine Coast Guard, the Bureau of Corrections, and the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. President Marcos said the increase will be implemented in three tranches on January 1st, 2026, January 1st, 2027, and January 1st, 2028. On top of the salary hike, the daily subsistence allowance for all MUP will also be raised from the current rate of 150 pesos to 350 pesos starting January 1st, 2026. President Marcos acknowledged that MUP personnel have remained the public's steadfast defenders in recent months when the country faced various challenges, including the recent disasters. He stressed that despite persistent security threats, communities remain secured because police and soldiers continue to respond first during emergencies, often at great personal risk.
Dol, pagputok ng bulkan, at mga pagbaha. Sa gitna nito, naging matibay na sandigan ng bayan ang ating mga military at uniformed personnel o MUP. Hindi rin nawawala ang banta sa ating seguridad. Ngunit panatag ang sambayanan dahil nandyan ang ating kapulisan at kasundaluhan. Ang ating mga MUP ang unang sumasagot sa tawag ng tungkulin kahit kaakibat nito ang mga banta sa kanilang kaligtasan. Sa lupa, tubig, o himpapawid, hindi kayo nagdadalawang isip na magsakripisyo ng inyong kaligtasan para sa kapakanan ng bawat Pilipino. Bilang pagkilala sa inyong walang sawang paglilingkod, dedikasyon at husay, ating itataas ang base pay ng MUP. Kasama rito ang lahat ng military and uniformed personnel mula sa Department of National Defense, Department of Interior and Local Government, Philippine Coast Guard, Bureau of Corrections, National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. Ito ay ipapatupad natin sa tatlong tranche sa January 1, 2026, January 1, 2027, at January 1, 2028. Bukod pa riyan, simula January 1, 2026, ang subsistence allowance ng lahat ng MUP ay magiging 350 pesos na kada araw. Naniniwala ang administrasyong ito na ang mga nagtatanggol sa bayan ay nararapat ring protektahan ng pamahalaan. Makatarungan sahod at sapat na suporta, ito ang handog ng sambayanan sa ating mga tagapagtanggol.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP thanked President Marcos for the increase, saying it reflects the administration's recognition of the sacrifices made by our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who dedicate their lives to protecting our people and safeguarding our sovereignty. Padilla said the increase will further raise the morale of all Filipino troops, aside from further strengthening the AFP's commitment to perform its duties with professionalism, integrity, and faithful service to the nation.
Dateline Malacanang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday confirmed that 9 Filipino seafarers previously held by Houthi forces in Yemen are finally returning home. The president credited the close cooperation between the Philippines and Oman for securing their release. In a video message, President Marcos shared that the seafarers arrived in Oman on Wednesday, where they were welcomed by officials from the Philippine Embassy in Muscat and the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW. After a brief documentation process, they were cleared for immediate repatriation. The chief executive expressed gratitude to the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, DMW, and embassy officials for their efforts while extending special thanks to the Omani government for its tireless assistance. He also acknowledged Sultan Haitham bin Tariq for Oman's steadfast support and friendship with the Philippines. President Marcos emphasized the significance of the timing, noting that the seafarers will be reunited with their families before Christmas. The president also offered condolences to the family of Neil Roy Faner, a Filipino crew member who perished when the vessel was attacked. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to safeguarding Filipino seafarers, recognizing the dangers they face in conflict zones worldwide. The 9 survivors were part of the crew of MV Eternity Sea, which sank in the Red Sea in July after being attacked. They were held in Yemen for months before being turned over to Omani authorities earlier this week.
Yung siyam na marino na ating kababayan ay naligtas mula sa lumubog ng barko, yung MV Eternity Sea sa Red Sea noong Hulyo, at sila ay binihag ng mga Houthi sa Yemen. Sila po ay pauwi na. Itong Miyerkules na dumating sila sa Oman mula sa Yemen, at sinalubong sila ng mga tauhan natin sa Philippine Embassy sa Muscat at saka ng Department of Migrant Workers. Pasalamat tayo sa lahat ng ginawa ng DFA, ng DMW, ng Philippine Embassy sa Oman. At huwag po natin kakalimutan na magpasalamat sa Omani government dahil sila talaga ay walang tigil na tumutulong sa atin. At kaya't pinapaabot ko ang pasasalamat ko sa Sultanate of Oman. Ang namumuno ay ang Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. At sila po ay talagang kaibigan po ng Pilipino, at lahat ng maaring gawin para iligtas ang ating mga marino ay kanilang ginawa. Kaya naman ay nandito na tayo at nailigtas yung siyam. Dumating sila sa Oman, nagka-briefing ng kaunti, inaayos ang mga dokumento nila, at hindi na natin pinatagal. Gusto na siguro nila umuwi, Pasko pa. Kaya pinauwi na natin at parating na rito sa Pilipinas. Ipapaabot din natin ang ating pakikiramay sa pamilya ni Mr. Neil Roy Faner, dahil po siya ay sumakabilang buhay nung inatake yung barko na sinasakyan ng mga marino natin. Ito po ay ating ginawa dahil alam naman natin na kuminsan delikado ang nagiging buhay ng ating mga marino, dahil kung saan sila pumupunta, napapasok sila sa war zone, kung saan yung mga lugar kung saan may gera, nadadamay sila. Kaya mabuti kahit medyo natagalan ay sa wakas ay makauwi na ang ating mga kababayan. Welcome home sa inyong lahat. Tama-tama, Merry Christmas.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacanang.
And finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. announced that the 1.3-kilometer Bocana Bridge in Davao City will officially open to motorists on December 15th, a development expected to ease traffic congestion during the busy holiday season. The president made the statement after inspecting the structure, also known as the Davao River Bridge, which forms part of the larger Davao City Bypass project. President Marcos said the bridge is projected to reduce travel time across the city from nearly 2 hours to just 20 to 25 minutes once operational. Funded through a grant from China, the Bocana Bridge spans 480 meters across the Bocana area and is expected to carry around 35,000 vehicles daily. It will serve as a vital link to decongest traffic in Davao City's downtown district.
Nandito ngayon tayo sa Bocana Bridge. Nakakatapos, it is a 1.3 kilometer bridge. Kasama ito sa buong bypass na ginagawa around Davao City. At ito'y sinasabi, ang estimate natin, na ang biyahe na dati halos 2 oras ay mababawasan, magiging mga 25 minutes, 20 minutes na lang. Kaya't malaking ginhawa. Lalong-lalo na ay ngayon na magpapasko tayo, alam naman natin nangyayari sa traffic. Kaya ito ay magagamit. We will open the bridge on the 15th, December 15 gagawin na. matatapos yung buong bypass by December 2027. So tuloy tapos na lahat ito all the way. Kaya't ito ay nagsimula, na-approve ito noong July ng 2022. Nagsimula ito ng 2023, early 2023.
Late 2023.
I'm sorry, late 2023 kasi mga approval. At ngayon ay tapos na. Kaya't natulungan naman tayo ng ating mga Chinese na contractor dahil ang ganda ng technology nila kaya't napakabilis at marunong talaga sila magpatayo ng magandang tulay, magandang infrastructure na mabilis at nasa tamang gastos, nasa tamang presyo. So this is one of the four major projects that legacy projects that we will be finishing in Davao and its environs. So nakatapos na tayo, marami na tayong nabuksan na section dito. And this will be now another major part of this bypass road. So I'm congratulating the DPWH for their good attention to this matter, and lahat ng nagtrabaho rito, congratulations. At we're looking forward to December 15 kung kailan meron ng dadaan na traffic dito.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacanang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacanang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacanang.